Hi, and welcome to Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube channel. I'm Carol Stehl, and today we're looking at our intentions. You may or may not be familiar with setting an intention, but intentions are different from goals. Goals help us to see the future, get clear on what we want, create a plan, and stay on track. And goals are necessary, but they take us out of the moment and emphasize what we don't have. However, setting and living your intentions allow you to focus on who you are and to recognize and live your values. And they provide a roadmap as to what qualities you want your life to represent and who you want to be and how you want to feel. We can give intention to everything we do throughout the day, from getting in our car and arriving safely at our destination, to being receptive to limitless possibilities. And you may know that our consciousness has an effect on everything, from the molecular structure of water to the well-being of humankind. And you also may know that Dr. Masaru Emoto proved that water can be influenced by intention. Yes, water can be influenced by intention. Well, our bodies are 90% water. So I'll let you connect the dots. I invite you now to set an intention. You may have one in mind, but make sure that you state your intention in the present tense and that you believe it with all your heart as if it's already true. So I have a few examples to share with you, and you may want to consider these, or you may have one already have it picked out. So here are a few. I intend to show acts of kindness to myself and others today. I am receptive to clarity and inspiration. I am at peace. I can. I am love. I live in gratitude for all that I have and all that I am. And this last example is one that's particularly relevant to right now, and it's one I've chosen. I am open and receptive to opportunities for meaningful contributions to facilitate change relative to the suffering in the world. So please set your intention if you've chosen to do so. And then meet me on your mat in a position on lying down on your back, okay? So let's go ahead and bend the knees to start, and we'll take a few cleansing breaths. Okay, so we'll just relax the body, and we're going to breathe in through the nose, and then we'll breathe out through the mouth. So take a full breath in through the nose and fill up the lungs completely. Open the mouth and just gush it out. Another full breath in, breathing in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth with a nice sigh. And one more time. Okay. So now let's stretch the legs out long. And we're going to flex the feet, toes pointing straight up, and we'll take the arms back behind the head. And so we're going to do a little flow, and we're going to be moving on the exhales only. Okay, so we'll hold in position on the inhale and move on the exhale. So breathe in and stretch the arms back. As you exhale, bring one knee to the chest. Inhale here in place, keeping the extended leg nice and grounded. Extend the leg up on the exhale and flex the foot. Breathing in here in place. And now we're going to take that leg out to the side without the opposite hip popping up. So keep both hips grounded. The leg on the floor is grounding down. On an exhale, bring the leg back up. On an inhale, let's take it just a few inches across the midline, keeping the foot flexed. Breathe in here in the pose. And as you breathe out, take it over a little further, as far as you'd like to take it. Breathing in here in place. And exhale back to center. Breathe in. And then exhaling, releasing the leg down. Okay, so let's take the other side. Let's take the arms back, reach in and reach your arms and breathe in. Exhale, bringing the opposite knee to the chest. Holding here as you breathe in. Exhale, extend. Both feet are flexed. Bottom leg is pressing down. Inhale in place. Exhale out to the side. Holding here in the pose as you breathe in. Exhale, bring it back up. Breathing in here. And as you exhale, take it just a few inches across the midline. Holding. And then on your exhale, take it over to the side as far as you'd like. Hold here on the inhale. And as you exhale, bring everything back up. Holding here as you breathe in. And exhale the leg down. So we'll take one more full round, okay? So take the arms back, flex the feet. Breathe in as you reach. Exhale, one knee to the chest. Hold here on the inhale. Exhale up. Exhale out. Both hips grounding down. Exhale back up to center. Exhale a few inches across the midline. Next exhale, take the leg over as far as you'd like. Next exhale brings it back up to center. And then one more exhale takes the leg all the way down. Okay, last side, arms back, reach in as you breathe in, reach back as you breathe in. Exhale, opposite knee to chest. Exhaling the leg up, flexing both feet. Exhaling the leg out to the side. Next, exhale back up. Exhale just a little bit over to the opposite side. And then exhale a little further over as far as you'd like. And exhale all the way back up. And then lastly, exhale all the way down. Okay, so let's bend the knees or roll to the side. And we're going to come onto our belly. So come onto your belly. And we're going to extend the arms straight out in front of you. Arms out. Legs are nice and long. Extend the legs a little longer. And then you can rest your forehead on the mat. And now tone the belly and lift one leg up. Lift one leg and stretch it back. And then lift the opposite arm and stretch it forward. And then float everything down. Lift the opposite leg and the opposite arm. And so now we're going to go swimming. So we're going to move with the breath. We're going to move back and forth. Inhaling as you lift one leg and the opposite arm. Exhaling as you release it down. Inhale, opposite side, alternating, back and forth. This time we're moving on the inhales and the exhales. When you lift that leg and arm, be sure to stretch and get more length. And let's take one more time each side, one more round. And then walking your hands up. And then let's stack the hands. And then place your forehead on your hands. And then let's bend one knee. And flex that foot. And now draw your navel up toward your spine. And now lift that knee up, but keeping both hip points on the ground. Keep the front hip points on the ground as you lift. And then lower. Tone the belly, lift the navel, lift the leg, and lower. Now let's lift and lower and coordinate the movement with your breathing somehow. You can lift on the inhale or you can lift on the exhale, whatever feels right for you. Let's take 3 more lifts. And then release the leg down. Just rock the hips from side to side a couple times. And then let's bend the opposite knee. Draw the navel up towards the spine. And on a breath out or in, lift the leg. And then lower it on the opposite phase of the breath. Lifting and lowering, keeping both hip points in contact with the ground. Let's take 3 more rounds. And then release. Release the leg down. And then bend both knees and then rock the legs from side to side a few times. And then coming back to center. And then slide the hands back, all the way back, and push your hips back toward a child's pose. Walk your fingers as far forward as you can get them. Take a breath here, in and out. Now take one more breath in, big breath in. And as you exhale, walk the hands over to one side. Walk the hands over. And then look over that shoulder behind you. And breathe. 3 big breaths here, in and out. Opening up the side of your body that's being stretched. And then working your hands back to center, and then walking them around to the other side. And looking over that shoulder behind you. And breathe here. Allow your breath to open up that side of your chest, of your torso that's being opened with this stretch. And then let's work the hands back to center. And walk the hands forward again. Now this time we're going to slide one hand back. Watch your hand. Follow your hand with your gaze. And as you bring the arm back and up, let's bring the hips up. Float the arm around in front and then back. So hips come down, arm comes down. Everything comes up, hips and arm. You can follow your hand with your gaze if you like. And let's take a few more revolutions, lifting the hips, floating the arms around. 3 more times. While you're in your practice, recall your intention and let it seep into your bones. And then coming back down and preparing for the other side. And so we'll slide the other hand back, watch your hand, follow it. Take it up behind you, lift the hips, arm comes up and down and around. Inhale as you take the arm and hips up. Exhale as you bring down and around. And let's take 3 more rounds. And then release. Just take a breath here in child's pose. And then now let's come up to table pose. Coming up to table. And just start letting the hips rock from side to side. Hips rock left and right. And then as you rock the hips, maybe you want to take them over a little further to each side, as feels comfortable. And maybe even a little further. And then perhaps you may even want to take the hips all the way down and hold. If this isn't in your practice, then just don't do it. Just keep rocking as feels right for you. One more breath here. Exhale up. And then rock a couple times from side to side. And then maybe working your way over to the other side. Keep both hands on the floor. Breathe here. And then push into the hands to bring the hips back up. Okay, so now let's set up for downward dog. Collarbones are wide, pressing into the fingers and the knuckles. Let's curl the toes under, lift the hips up and push way back. Push back. And stay here for just a breath or two, making your downward dog whatever you'd like it to be. And then coming back to center. And let's walk the hands to the feet. And then bend the knees and take the arms out and come all the way up. And then back to center. All right, so now let's take the feet really wide apart. Nice wide stance, whatever feels nice and wide to you. It's a little bit of a different distance for everyone. And you want the toes pointing straight ahead, okay? So now let's turn one foot towards the short edge of the mat and turn the back foot at an angle. Place your hands on your thighs and let's just bend the front knee and then come back. Bend the front knee and then come back. A few more times. Warming up the legs. And then one more time, and let's come into our stance. Check to see that your knee is tracking over your foot. You don't want it to cave in, okay? And here we're going into side angles, so there are a few ways you can do this. You can have a block close by. So you can place your hand on a block, the opposite hand on the waist, or forearm on the thigh. Okay, that's another option. And then the last option would be to take your hands down to the floor. Okay, so I'm going to place my hand on my thigh. I'm going to sink deep into your pose. Back leg is nice and straight. You take the arm, opposite arm straight up. And you have options here for your arm. Now you want to rotate the rib cage so it opens up towards the ceiling. And then arm over the head, over by the ear, or it can stay straight up. So arm over by, or somewhere in between. Anywhere in between is fine. And breathe here. And then to come out, we're just going to push into that front foot. And then release the arms, turn the toes in. And then for the other side, turn the opposite foot straight out. Back foot at an angle. And then hands on the thighs, and we're just going to bend the thigh, bend the knee. Making sure the knee tracks over the foot. Just going back and forth a few times. One more time. And now decide where you want your front hand, either on the thigh, on a block by your heel, or down on the floor. Okay? And then rotate the torso up towards the ceiling. Extend the top arm up. It can be straight up, or it could be over by the ear, or somewhere in between. You draw your arm into the shoulder socket. Keep rotating your rib cage up towards the ceiling, and breathe. And then push into the front foot to come all the way back up. Release the arms, turn the toes. And this, you can toe heel your feet back together, or hop all the way back together. Okay, so now for a little balancing. Let's stand here in Tadasana for just a few moments. Take a few centering breaths. Lift all the toes. Lift them way up. Set them down one at a time. Activate the legs. Tone the belly. Lengthen all the way up through the torso and up through the crown of the head. Shoulders back and down. Nice. Okay. So now, let's shift our weight to, let's take the right leg. Okay, so shift your weight to the right leg without locking that right knee. So we have a couple options here. You can bring the heel of the opposite foot up and just touch the toe down. Okay, so that's option one. Option two would be to bring your knee up off the floor and hold it with your hands. If you want, you can extend your leg out and just hold here and breathe and balance. And make sure you keep toning the belly for nice stability. And also another option would be to take the toe lock. So the first two fingers of the hand wrap around the big toe and then extend that leg out. Standing up really tall. And you could play around here if you like, taking the leg out to the side. And just breathe. And let's take one more breath here. And then just work your way mindfully out of the pose. Okay, so you ready for the other side? Okay, it's important to when people are balancing, I see a lot of people trying to go, just bite off too much. So just back off to the previous step and work there. And just know that there are no balance police, okay? All right, so decide where you want to be. First, get grounded on your left foot. Left leg is nice and tall, standing up out of that hip. Now bring the opposite heel, the right heel, off the floor. So get really centered here in your balance first. And then when you're ready, take the knee up. If that's in your practice, you can use your hands or not. Extend your leg is another option. And then there's the toe lock. 2 fingers wrap around the big toe. Get really tall and extend the leg. And your leg may be just bent, extended a little bit. Doesn't have to go all the way out. And then taking it out to the side if that's in your practice. Standing tall and breathing. Back up to the previous step if you're having trouble with your balance. And let's take a couple more breaths here. And then release out gracefully. And you can shake out the legs. Okay. So let's come back down to the mat. Just take a tall mountain and a forward fold. And then work your way down onto the hands and knees. And so we're going to do a little work with pigeon. We're first going to do a little pigeon flow, I call it. Okay, so you may want your blocks, and you may want to have a blanket. Have a blanket close by, or a towel, or a pillow, or something to support the leg in pigeon. Okay, so collarbones are wide, fingers spread wide. Let's curl the toes under, lift the hips up, push them back. Now feel your shoulder blades hugging your back ribs. Collarbones are really wide. Now let's take the left leg up into 3-legged dog. Push the hips back. Take a full breath in here. As you exhale, bring the knee to the chest and then all the way forward, set it down between the hands. And then we're going to roll over to the side, and you can decide how much you want to open your leg. I'm going to open my leg just a teeny bit because my hips are tight. You want to flex this foot to protect the knee. And then roll back on, roll back up so that your hips are level. So your hip points, the 2 hip points, are on the same plane and lined up with the front of your mat. And then point the back toes. Now here's where you need your blanket. Your folded blanket goes under the suspended hip, okay? You don't want this hip hanging out in the middle of the sky. And the back leg, your pointing leg, straight back. Now get your pigeon hands, okay? Pigeon hands. And then draw the navel back towards the spine. Open wide across the collarbones, make a lot of space there. And breathe. Holding in the pigeon. And let's take one more breath here. And now we're going to release the blanket from underneath the hip. Then roll onto that hip and reach for your back leg and bring it forward. And then cross that foot on the outside of your thigh. If that doesn't work, you can bring your foot on the inside of that front leg. Okay, so inside or outside. And then take your left arm all the way back, breathe in, and then wrap your arm around that leg. Right hand comes behind in a twist. So drop that right sit bone down to the ground and press into the right foot. So everything on the right side is really pressing down. And then begin your twisting. Slowly move into the pose. So inhale, lengthening up. Exhale, we'll twist a little teeny bit. So let the breath take you into the pose. Breathe in, lengthen up. As you breathe out, twist a little more. Optional would be to hook the elbow in front of the thigh, going a little deeper into the twist. Breathe in, lengthen. Breathe out, twist maybe a little further. Hoping you left some space, plenty of space to take your time to twist in the pose. And let's take one more breath here, in and out. Breathe in once more, lengthening up. And exhale, release back to center. And then reach for your front shin, bring it back around to the pigeon, curl the toes under, and we're going to lift back into the three-legged dog. And then release the leg down. And let's take the opposite leg up. Breathe in and push back. Exhale, knee to chest and bring it down. And then we'll just go back and forth 2 more times. Reach the leg back. Inhale, bring it forward. 1 more time. Coming forward. And then release the hip down. Open up the leg, maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. If you have nice open hips, you could probably open it up a whole lot. And then flex that foot and roll back, up, point the back toes, and then take your blanket, place it underneath the suspended hip. Okay, so you're not sitting on it, you're just using it for some support. And then get your pigeon fingers like this, okay? And then draw the navel back towards the spine. Lots of space across the upper chest. Lengthen up through the crown of the head and breathe. And 1 more breath here, in and out. We'll release the blanket, roll onto the hip, draw the back leg up, cross it over, either on the outside or the inside of the thigh, okay? You want to press into that standing foot, press and drop that left sit bone down. Now let's take the right arm back, breathe in. As you exhale, wrap it around the leg somehow. Opposite hand on the floor behind you. And you're about 50% into your twist here. So now allow some space to let your breath take you into the full expression of the pose. So breathe in as you lengthen up. And breathing out, turning a little bit more. Take 3 or 4 more breaths to get into the twist. Hooking the elbow if you'd like. And last one, breathe in. And as you exhale, unwind. And then bring that leg back. Curl the toes under. Push back to downward dog. You can stay here in downward dog for a few breaths, or you can come directly into child's pose, but ending up in child's pose. Maybe you want to take a wide-legged child's pose this time. Knees are wide, the big toes together. And just release and let the head rest on something, either a block or your forehead, pillow, something. And let's take one more breath here in child's pose. And then work your way to either sitting up. I'm going to sit. Either sitting up or lying in Shavasana for the final pose. Just getting very comfortable. And now as you relax, listen to these words by L.R. Nost. Do not be dismayed by the brokenness in the world. All things break. And all things can be mended. Not with time, as they say, but with intention. So go, love intentionally, extravagantly, unconditionally. The broken world awaits in darkness for the light that is you. And now feel free to stay resting in Shavasana or sitting. I'm going to close the class now. If you like, bring your hands together in front of your heart and bow your head to the light that shines in your heart. It's that same heart, same light in our hearts that connects us as one. Namaste. Thank you for joining today. It was a pleasure. Have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Hope y'all have a wonderful week. Take good care. Hi, Judy. I didn't see you before. And thank you. Stay tuned to the class tomorrow. Andrea is doing feet first. Okay? And check out our new schedule on Sun and Moon for the summer, starting next week. Bye.